Hello, Scorpios. This is Michelle coming at you with Page of Wands Intuitive Tarot. And I do twin flame skeptic readings for twins in separation. And what I mean by that is if you have recently gone through a sort of dark night of the soul and you're continuing on a journey that you feel was somehow facilitated by or in accordance with a twin flame experience, a karmic relationship or a soul relationship, as being the catalyst for the journey that you are now on, the spiritual journey that you are now on, then that's who these readings are for. Of course, anybody can watch these videos, but specifically that's who I've decided to read for, are people like me that are on this journey, understanding that this is very much a spiritual journey and not necessarily discounting everything about the twin flame experience, but perhaps just bringing some things into question and maybe not fully embracing all of the information that there is out there on twin flames. So this is for Scorpio, and Scorpios, I must apologize. I went to do your reading yesterday and my computer was being all kinds of crazy. So it must not have been in the stars for you. I had to look at my retrogrades because I was like, I don't know what's going on. I had some major technology issues yesterday. So I apologize. I'm trying to get these out as quickly as possible. So this is for Scorpio. This is for the end of June through the end of July. So basically the month of July, since it's already June 25th, but whenever this reading finds you is appropriate. Okay. So without further ado, I'm going to get started. I'm using my Tarot of the Old Path. This is the deck I've been using for these readings. It's a really beautiful deck. It's based on Wicca. It's got a very feminine kind of component to it. And I'm going to lay 3 cards down vertically for the Divine Masculine on my left, 3 cards for the Divine Feminine on my right, and then I'm going to have 2 connecting energy cards in between. Guys, if you are interested in a personal reading, please do hit me up. I've got my information in the description below. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I did already meditate over the cards and shuffled. I staged my whole room. I tried to get everything like nice and in order for you guys so I can get a really clear reading. So going ahead and laying down your cards here. And Scorpio, you guys are the opposite of the zodiac sign from me. I'm Taurus. So, a lot of times we're actually supposed to make really good companions because we sort of sit on this opposite spectrum, but I think we have a lot in common, especially because I'm a Leo rising, so I have a lot of ambition and sort of bravery and courage, and I think that that's found a lot in Scorpios. Scorpios are very natural leaders. I always think of Scorpios as fiery energy, even though you're a water sign. So anyway, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some of that come out here. The first cards that we are starting with the Divine Masculine over on the left here are the 5 of Swords. So there's definitely been a struggle here. I always look at the 5 of Swords as involving conflict with other people. And I look at this as a hollow victory card. This is the card where the guy in the foreground there really thinks he's gotten away with murder, and he really feels like he's coming away from this battle with a false sense of having been victorious. However, I look at this card as a hollow victory, because I think it's unspoken whether or not that man in the background is calling a truce just because he's tired of fighting, or if it's a strategic move because he wants to make this guy in the foreground that's got all of this confidence feel like they've won. This is very much a card of the battle of egos for me. I see this as being a lot of family conflict. I see this as being a lot of actual fights with other people, not necessarily physical, but definitely a conflicting energy here. And with this being something that is on the top of the Divine Masculine's row, I feel like this is sort of the outward energy that's being expressed here. And then right under that, we have the 7 of Pentacles. And this man has worked very, very hard for something. He has been working on a project. He's been working on bringing something into his life that's very tangible. The Pentacles dealing with health, wealth, and I look at spirituality as well in Pentacles a lot. I feel like that this man has been cultivating something, working really hard, and he's wiping the sweat off his brow there, and he's got all his pentacles up in the tree. So this represents to me something where he's waiting for his rewards to come in. He's waiting to really reap the product of what he sowed. So since this is falling underneath the card of conflict here and sort of ego battles, I feel like this person's been fighting really hard. This Divine Masculine Scorpio is like, you've been You've been working really hard, and I don't feel that these battles are necessarily in vain, and I don't feel like you're necessarily the man in the foreground here. I feel like you just really have had a lot of passion and a lot of energy, and that whatever it is you've been working on, whatever this project is that you've been trying to cultivate, has been you've been doing so with a lot of this force behind it, and perhaps in the midst of struggle and conflict with outlying members of your family or your job. Perhaps even if you have a really cutthroat position at work, this could be definitely apropos for you. A lot of times on the twin flame journey, I feel like if we're really going to dig deeper into what this means, this isn't just about a relationship with another person, but that person is the catalyst. And what that does is that puts us in a position where we are supposed to be reevaluating all of the components of our lives and figuring out how we can get ourselves to a better soul place, right? And a lot of times what this is going to do is it's going to drudge up a lot of nasty stuff. And that can cause conflict between family members. That can cause us to reevaluate how we feel about the jobs that we're in, the ways we make money on an everyday basis, right? The ways that we evaluate what brings health and wealth and fulfillment, deep fulfillment, right? Looking past the outer wall, looking past the tangible, what we see, feel, hear, touch, and and taste every day, right? There's a going deeper element that I'm tapping into here, even though we don't really have any spiritual cards yet in terms of major arcana. But I do believe that this effort has not been in vain. So whether there's been a lot of fighting and conflict that's come with the thing that you are working diligently towards, I believe you will see the results of that. You're not quite at the 8 yet where you are really getting to admire the beauty of all of your hard work, but you are at a 7, which means that you've almost just finished putting those last pieces into place, and that you are in a good position to actually see fruits of your labor. Right underneath that, we have the Mastery card. This is the Chariot in the traditional deck. This man has all of his horses reined. This is all of the elements, right? You've got your fire, you've got your earth, you've got your water, and your air. So this man's got all of his horses reined, and he is off to the races. He's going. This tells me that there is a very swift universal energy surrounding whatever it is you've been working on. So whether or not you've been toiling for a really long time and trying to cultivate whatever it is you're trying to cultivate, or trying to almost reinstate what this health and wealth and fulfillment means to you, I believe that you've got this really great universal energy right here where you are going to be able to move quickly towards it now, or things are going to start moving very quickly in your favor. So that's good, masculines. I kind of like to see, even though this is at the top and this is sort of the outset, I feel like you will be moving away from that soon, and you will be moving towards things that are a little bit more in your control and that are offering you a little bit more of a well-roundedness here with everything that you're trying to harness. Okay, so that's good. I feel like this energy is definitely moving in a positive way, and I'm going to go ahead. We'll clarify on those in just a bit. I'm going to go move over to the Divine Feminine side right now. Divine Feminine, the first card that you have right now is this Knight of Pentacles in reverse. This Knight is actually, in terms of court cards, I've been getting him a lot with readings. I've been getting a lot of Pentacle people in general. So this person is somebody that I look at almost as this Knight of Templar in, the sort of archetype spirit, where he is somebody that works really hard in the upright, right? I look at him sometimes as the apprentice. I look at him as somebody that he's got a mentor, and he's not afraid of hard work, and he's not afraid of being the person that is kind of the workhorse in maybe a business partnership or in a domestic partnership. This is somebody that's very happy to be the supporting role. And they're very dependable, and they're very stable because they have this earth energy, and they're very willing to learn. And they're very willing to take what they've learned and put it into practice. On the flip side, I feel like this person in particular could be male or female, even though Divine Feminine, this may be you and how you're feeling right now. I don't really pay attention to necessarily the sex of the cards, but so much the overall energy, masculine or feminine. So I feel like if this is you right now, female Scorpios, you might feel like you've gotten a little bit off track. And you might feel like you've sort of been on the straight and steady, on the straight and narrow path, and kind of like going with emotions. I feel like this is somebody that's like, I've been doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. I've been very diligent. I've been very thorough. I've been very forthright. And I feel now like I'm kind of stuck and I've lost my way. Like I don't really feel like I'm on the path right now. I don't know if my horse ran away or I'm just thirsty and tired and I need to stop or whatever it is. But I feel like either this knight doesn't know who to follow, doesn't know where to go, doesn't know where his path is leading, might be questioning what it is they got into this in the first place for, right? But this isn't a staticky negative energy. It's more of a little bit of a tired, right? A little bit of not feeling grounded anymore. Just kind of not having a way. And then right under that, you have 3 people here, FYI. So we're definitely going to need to clarify this a little bit and explore it a little bit, but we'll get there. Right under that, we have the King of Wands or King of Rods in this deck. This man is very charismatic. He's very much a visionary. He's very much a leader. This is my entrepreneur card. We've got more masculine energy here. So I feel like whatever it is, perhaps this is kind of the core of your energy or the crux of how you want to feel or what's sort of lying beneath in terms of what you want to do. If you are especially working on a creative project here, or this is somebody that is very fiery and very passionate, very, very fiery and passionate, but they know how to harness that. This isn't the Knight of Wands where their fire can be misguided and then burn out really quickly. This guy has integrity, right? He's already set his foundations and he already knows what he wants and he works towards that, but he's a creative. This could be like kind of your master chef guy or your master artist or your, professional musician that's made a really great career out of it. I feel like this guy kind of has all his ducks in a row. He can be a little bit egotistical, because he's an artsy type and we know how they can be. But definitely a lot of passion and creativity and fire. So you've got this sort of upside down, kind of lost your way in the apprenticeship mold. Perhaps you're moving out of this. Perhaps you have been putting in a lot of effort and training under someone and kind of learning and sort of doing something on the down low where you've been studying, you've been putting forth the effort, you've been really like taking in all of the information and the guidance you can take in, and you're trying to reach this stage where you can maybe go off on your own and start your own business. That's definitely something that resonates with me. I'm not a Scorpio. But I feel like that's probably something that's that is going to play out for more than one sign and many, many people on this journey where you will reevaluate what health and wealth means to you. Guys, if we see the 9 of Pentacles in reverse, that's the card that I always refer to, when you're not feeling like you're in your best element in terms of being financially independent and being able to really enjoy your life as a person that's got a lot of individuality and that has a lot of autonomy and has a lot of confidence to be on their own and be making their own money and forging their own path. I see that that coming out a lot in this experience, and that's something that has been really relevant to me. And I think, there's a lot of parallels between all of our journeys here. So now, right under that card, right under this Knight of Pentacles reversed and this King of Wands in the upright. So maybe this energy moving out of being an apprenticeship and getting into this really bold, fiery energy where you're going to blossom and have all this confidence. Then right under that, we have this Page of Cauldrons in reverse or Page of Cups in reverse. And this guy is my guy that is having a really hard time connecting with his emotions, or he doesn't know how to. And I do look at this as the emotional immaturity card. This can be children or younger people, but I'm reading this more as an energy, again, of somebody that is just not tapping into their emotions. So this is somebody that is either emotionally unavailable or it usually is, I guess, in a sense, emotionally unavailable, but a lot of times not because they don't want to be, but because they don't understand yet how to tap into this, or they don't have enough experience with love or this kind of love. So divine feminines, however you are relating this energy, this could also be somebody that is drinking too much or using other substances or other things um, because they're coming from an emotional place, but they don't know how to place their emotions. Okay, so somebody that doesn't know how to tap into and navigate their emotions, so it kind of goes into this dark place, this sort of not very useful place. So divine feminines, there's a little bit of a conundrum here with you, I must say, because you've got these 3 court cards all in a line, and you've got this coming out of apprenticeship or sort of losing your way, and then this strong, fiery, creative, entrepreneurial spirit, and then this like denial of love or lack of knowledge of how to deal with love or your emotions, or not knowing how to start a creative a project that is very close to your heart and emotional, maybe having an opportunity that you're not acting on. But I'm not really sure yet. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to wait until we clarify those to really go that much deeper into the scenario. And these could be 3 different people too, Scorpios. If you are maybe feeling like this, okay, like you've lost your way and you're being influenced by somebody like this very creative, very passionate figure. Maybe this is how you view your divine masculine. Or maybe this has to do with a current spouse, a current boyfriend, a father. It could be any of those energies. This is a pretty dominant energy, right? This person is no wallflower, okay? And then this more immature person in reverse, perhaps there's a male figure you're dealing with in your life that is also being influenced by a sort of not so great energy right now, immature energy or emotional energy, somebody that's playing a lot of manipulative games. Maybe they're attached to your divine masculine, or they're attached to whomever this is. But because it's way down at the bottom here, and the divine masculine's energy is moving in that way where I read top to bottom. So this, I'm not so sure, but we're going to clarify, and I think we'll get a better idea once we clarify on those. And then your connecting energy right now is the moon. This is a card of, I see, romance, mysticism, anything that has to do with, it's illusion in this deck, but not so much in the sense of there being lies. I look at this as a deeper meaning of illusion in which it sort of calls us, because this woman is being called. You see that? How she's sort of worshiping that moon goddess there, that really super epic looking moon goddess that's in that a little bit of a suggestive position, but her hands are turning into water and running into the stream. You've got the reflection of her face down here. And then you've got that like crawfish lobster at the bottom. And then this guy is crying because he's like losing his woman to the moon, right? He's like, no, my woman, my divine masculine, she's going to go off and turn to witchcraft and worship the moon. And I'm not going to be important anymore. That's how I look at this. Not really. I really see this as more of someone that is exploring this a little bit, is exploring their mysticism, is exploring their darker side, is exploring what lies behind the veil, and what is not so tangible. Remember what I was talking about, and connecting to energies and things in our lives, our health and our wealth and our spirituality, and where we get that from. And I feel like this journey is very much about how we reevaluate love, and how we reevaluate how we feel about ourselves, and how we reevaluate how we spend our lives and what we do with our lives. And maybe this energy is the energy that's connecting the divine masculine with the divine feminine, or maybe this energy is calling both of you, or you felt compelled to tap into this and tap into this sort of shadow self, right? And all of the things that go along with that. And then, wow, right under that, we have the Four of Wands, the Four of Rods, which in this deck is kind of like the twin flame card, right? A lot of people look at this as the 11-11 card. You've got the happy family, the dog, the child. They've got their house in the background. They're harvesting their crops, like they got all their shit going on, right? So this is a very stable card. This card is about extremely firm and stable foundations. So the connecting energy here, guys, is really, really, I feel like this is so beautiful because you've got this strong foundations rooted in passion and love, and then you've got this mysticism. So I feel almost like these are opposites, but they are in support of each other. There might be a little bit of mystery. There might be some questions that still need to come out, but I feel like this is sort of supporting whatever is not being said. If there is something not being said, I don't really see that. I just see whatever conflict is on the left-hand side and what the divine masculine is working towards and what he has the potential to really get to relatively quickly. And then whatever the feminine is working on here with cultivating a sense of being able to tap into this love and passion. You know, Scorpio feminines, I almost feel, because this guy's right in the middle of these, I almost feel like you're trying to get to this person in the middle that really understands the foundations of their love and where their passion and their creative center needs to come from. And you're maybe trying to balance out that earthy energy, and that maybe you're coming out of this sense of being this follower. And again, you want to be this really fiery leader. You know, you really want to tap into that, your leader side. I mean, you're Scorpio. You've got a lot of charisma, right? You've got a lot of, you've got depth and you've got like spirit. So maybe you're kind of coming out of this sense of not really like feeling at times like this, like you don't really know how to tap into your emotions and feeling like you've just been going along on your path, trotting really slowly, and you are just kind of trying to reach this culmination. You know, that's a big possibility too, because we've got this really strong foundational connecting energy between the two, but then we've got this sort of mystery card on top of it, you know. And then another storyline here might be that if one of you is in a family situation, like which I'm seeing more being the divine masculine, and you're trying to break out of that, but you are unsure and you're afraid to tap into this side as well, and you're afraid to reevaluate what this foundation means to you and what family life means to you and stability means to you. A lot of us have had to do that, okay? I have had to do that as well, and I don't mean to keep bringing myself into this, but I feel like our experiences a lot of times will overlap, right? Like I mentioned before. So it's having to reevaluate what brings you stability in your heart. What feels like family to you? I want to be very careful here, because I think that if you're listening to videos like this on YouTube, you might be a little bit of an outlier, right? We might not always be following the mold. I certainly have not, right? Going from point A to point B to point C in this pretty line, the way we're supposed to do it, graduate high school, go to college, get married, have the kids. That might have happened for you already. And you've got this, but you also want to explore this, right? Or this has made you, and this experience has made you really, I mean, it can cause a lot of conflict, especially within the family. It can cause you to be exhausted, trying to work more and cultivate more towards something you want, right? And I see on the masculine side here for Scorpios, much more of a sense of action and effort, just being implemented, right? Just really being put out there and really being tapped into. And on the feminine side, I see much more of an internal cultivation. The masculine side, I see more of an external cultivation. And the female side, I see much more of an internal cultivation, because you've got all people here, like all energies here. Okay, so even if you are dealing with other people, you know, whether this is the way you look at your divine masculine, or this is a counterpart in your life that you're having to deal with. And this is, I still feel like this is much more internalized for you, okay? Okay, that being said, let's go ahead and clarify. So Divine Masculines, I'm going to go ahead and pull 3 cards to clarify your 5 of Swords, your 7 of Pentacles, and your Chariot card here, otherwise known as Mastery in this deck. All right. Oh, wow. Huh. Okay. So the first card we get is the Empress. One of my absolute favorite cards. Look at this lady with her baby and her ankh and all of her animals. She is just like goddess, right? This is maternal, feminine, earthy goddess energy. And I feel like whatever you've been fighting for, whatever conflicts you've had to deal with, they surround an extremely feminine energy. This could be a mother of your child. This could be your mother, or this could be the way you view your divine feminine. And this could be the struggle that you've been on because this is how you see her. And guys, this is such an archetype of the feminine, right? I named my business after this card. So when I felt really called to change up my career, I started a business called the Empress Table. And it's an event planning dinner party design company because that's where my background is in event planning. I named it after the Empress because I wanted to go deeper and give back to the community. So every time we have an event, we give money to a charity to try and enhance somebody else's life that doesn't have as much as we have, because this is all about the card of abundance, right? Yeah, so whatever this fighting is has to do with a strong female earthly entity and possibly something that involves children, but definitely a very earthy female energy here. And I feel like that this fight has been, I don't know, I don't get so much a negative, although it could be a fight with someone that's maybe the mother of a child, of your child for sure, divine masculines. But anyway, right under that, then we have the 5 of Wands in reverse on top of this card worker card. And guys, keep in mind, this is right under the 5 of Swords. So family conflict and fighting, hollow victories, and then lots of different people. Look, you've got like a court jester, a guy with a big fuzzy hat, a young girl and a young boy, and they're all kind of got their sticks up, and they're not like, pissed at each other, but they're not. This structure is not happening. Whatever this TP is that they're trying to build, it ain't happening in a very good way, right? They look like they're all trying to get their sticks up there. Everybody's fighting to get their sticks up there. Everybody's fighting to be heard. Everybody wants their opinion heard. And in the upright here, I feel like maybe this is just a constant ongoing of this, or like it's been happening for a while and it's not ceasing, or perhaps this is about to work its way out because of all this hard work that you've done to really try and put things in a better place for yourself and for the people around you. And whether this involves your job or your family, health, wealth, and spirituality, again, I feel like this is, you've taken in a lot of opinions. You've had a lot of opinions going on, right? Everybody's throwing in their 2 cents. And you are kind of either just done with it and you're over it and you're disregarding it now and you're moving away from that, or you figured out a way to move past that and get yourself to a place where you have done all of this work and you're like, I'm fucking exhausted. Sorry, pardon my French, guys. I do swear in these videos. I'm exhausted and I'm done with all this family conflict and this fighting. I'm done with this fighting. No more. I'm not listening to you anymore, right? I'm forging my own path. Okay? This energy is very much influencing what's going on here. And then on your Chariot card, on your card of swift movement and taking the reins, you've got the Tower reversed. This is something that's trying to be avoided. This is somebody that has put in a lot of effort and tried to get out of this fighting because you are avoiding this and you're trying to move away from this or keep this from happening. The Tower is a huge shift, right, guys? This is a big foundational crumbling. If you are on this twin flame journey, you have probably experienced at least 3 of these. All right? Okay, maybe at least 1. But I would not be surprised if you've experienced 3 to 5 because I just feel like this goes with the territory. And this doesn't need, necessarily mean In the upright here, guys, it can be a little bit of a doom and gloom card, right? This could be divorce. This could be some nasty stuff, you know? The crumbling of a relationship, the crumbling of beliefs you once had, losing a job, getting fired, losing a loved one. There can be a lot of connotations with this card. In the upright, I feel like this is a little bit more of an avoidance. It's an avoidance of this, right? So maybe you have been working really, really hard to get out of the family conflicts and to get out of all the differing opinions and move past that in a way where you can avoid this like really total shakeup of whatever has been going on. All right? Like you're moving away from that tower and you're trying to get things in a place. I feel like you're coming from a really rough place, divine masculines, but a place where you are trying to, there's been a lot of fighting and there's been a lot of struggle, but you have really been like working really hard to try to move things in a more positive direction. Okay. And again, I feel like there's a really heavy family component here. Okay. So feminines, you definitely need some clarifying on all of your people over here. So let's get that going real quick. So looking for divine feminine clarification for Scorpio for July. Hopefully we don't get any more court cards. We don't need those. So let's get some really helpful, useful cards here. One more shuffle, guys, and then I think we're good there. Okay? So, thank Gouda. No people. All right. So the first thing we have is the High Priestess. And this High Priestess is on the Knight of Pentacles reverse. So remember when I said I feel like your energy is a lot more internalized here? I stand by this. And I feel like this person that feels like they've lost their way and they're done being this apprentice, I think you, Divine Feminine Scorpios, are really going in with this beautiful High Priestess card. I mean, she's like my second favorite next to the Empress. They're both pretty epic, but with her black cat and her squirrel and her snake and her monarch butterflies and all of her beautiful creatures, deer. Notice she's got the white moon and the black moon there. This is the lady that sits in between the veil of the light and the dark, the conscious and the subconscious, right? What's out here in the tangible and what's behind the veil, what we don't see. This is the inner voice. This is the inner calling. Divine Feminines, bravo. When I see this, I feel like you are tapping into your intuition. You are trusting yourself. You're embracing your inner female wisdom, this inner knowing, right? This is an inner knowing and a connectedness, not only to that universal, whatever you want to call it, divine energy, if you want to call it God, if you want to call it universal light, whatever you want to call it. I don't like to get hung up in semantics, but whatever that means to you, I feel like you really are tapping in here. So, maybe this really is a moving away. You've been doing a lot of hard work on yourself and on your spirituality, a lot of hard work. And you've been doing a really awesome job. Like you're there, right? And then again, here we go. Look at this. Okay, so King of Wands. Remember how I said, I'm not sure if this is the place you're trying to get to and how you feel about yourself, or if this is a person that's influencing you, that's like really strong, passionate, creative, masculine, entrepreneurial energy. But then on top of that, we have the Seven of Cups, and this is the card of choices. This is the card of, I've got all these choices. Look at all these lovely ladies in front of me. All right. I'm going to get lucky with all these ladies, right? But the problem is, not all that glimmers is gold, right? Not all of our options are always the best option. So this is kind of feeling like, oh my God, I could go in all these directions and I have all these emotions going on. One day I feel like this and one day I feel like that. And then 4 hours later, I feel like this. And then 2 hours later, I feel like that. And I don't really know which way to go because I don't really know how to move through all the cups of my emotions, right? In the traditional deck, you've got like a snake coming out of one and a castle coming out of the other. And it's like some look great and some look scary and you just really don't know which cup to dip into. All right. So I feel whoever this person is, if this is an outline energy, you do not know how to feel about them. Okay. Or this is you in wanting to cultivate this energy of this like really super dope King of Wands guy, and you don't really know how to get there. You don't really know what choices you need to make to get yourself there. Like you've done the inner work. Now, how do you manifest that? how do you tap into this like super powerful energy? How do you do that? Because you've got all these emotions going through you, and you've got all these kind of like little choices you can make, but you don't really know what to dip into there. And then that's why you have the reversed Knight of Cups here, not knowing how to tap into the intuition, not knowing how to deal with the emotions there. And then you've got the Ace of Swords on top of that, which is either a hidden truth or a lack of clarity. Lack of clarity. You don't know how you feel. I really think that that's what this is. I think you don't know how you feel. Like right now, you can't make heads or tails of your emotions. I think you've done the inner work and you know where your soul is. And I think that you know, like, you're cool with this. Like, you're cool with this moon energy. You're cool with your intuition. Like, you're like, I feel like I know what I want. I feel like I know who I am. But I still have all of these watery reservations about how I feel about this guy. And I really do think maybe that's how you see your divine masculine. If you're not trying to get to this place, I almost see this more as trying to get to your divine masculine, because it's really hard to come from this place and get to come from the Knight of Pentacles reversed and get to the King of Wands reversed when you've got this underpinning everything. I don't know what to do. I'm kind of an emotional mess, and I'm kind of avoiding making any decisions because I have no clarity. I have lack of clarity, divine feminines. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I just think that's where you're at. And I think that you are a little bit caught up, Scorpio, in your watery energy here. Okay? I think you feel like there's so much that's not said, and there's so much that you don't know, and there's so much of a mystery still going on that you don't know how to make heads or tails of it. And like you're afraid to tap into your own intuition. Like you're afraid to start letting that actually lead you on your path of having these what did I say the masculine was doing? He's making external efforts to really relay that into practical external efforts, right? Because you're just so caught up in the water of your own emotions. And the thing is that there's foundation here, right? There's definitely foundation here. This is a connecting energy. So again, this might have to do with the masculine. I do definitely see this family issues on the divine masculine side, and on the divine feminine side, you know, maybe there is for her, but again, this is more of an internal thing, and this may be really what she wants so bad, you know, but she doesn't know if this is going to get her there. She doesn't know if the divine masculine is going to get her there. She doesn't know if he's going to ever be done dealing with his crap, right? And maybe moving away from whatever family situation this is. Or again, guys, I feel like divorce a lot of times plays a big role here. Okay? Maybe divine masculine's moving away from this fighting in the situation. He's avoiding it. Maybe he's avoiding it. Or whatever it is that's going to make this big shift. Or a new job. Maybe he's avoiding it. Doesn't, again, and a lack, I think, of understanding what these foundations mean. But feminines, I really feel like you are just a little bit caught up right now in your emotions, because the lack of clarity does not sit well with you, right? And I think I read somewhere that Scorpios they don't like secrets. They don't like secrets. And I think that this moon is really affecting you, you know, a lot with this. It's this overall lack of clarity with this Ace of Swords reverse, the Seven of Cups, too many choices in your emotions, too many emotions going on, and this Page of Cups in reversed, not knowing how to tap into that. Okay, so let's pull some oracle cards. This reading's getting a little long, guys. I'm so sorry, but I like to be thorough. So let's pull some oracle cards here, because I feel that these readings are only so good in as the advice that they can give to move forward, right? Let's get some practical action going here. And so this is the Messenger Oracle, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull one for the Divine Masculine and one for the Divine Feminine. And we're going to try to get a little of an overarching message here in terms of a good way to move forward. These have the messages on these cards I feel are helpful. And then I'm going to pull a Vintage Wisdom card. They are one-word cards, but they, I think, can really tie things up for us very nicely. So divine masculines for Scorpio. For July, what is the best advice that you have here? On top of a lot of this action going on. Wow. Divine masculines. Time to reflect. Some really beautiful colors in this. I hope you guys can see it. It looks like a little bit of a glare on there, but really cool card. I like the duality here too, with sort of the orange and red and then the blue and purple. Time to reflect. So, and I mean, this is just like, I can hold these up so you can see how like amazing all of the colors in these cards are together. I just see so much going on, so much movement and profound shifts here, masculines. But the time to reflect, okay? I think this is especially important, given the fact you've been doing so much. There's been so much conflict and so much effort and so much opinions and so much fighting. And you're moving now and you're trying to avoid whatever this foundational shakeup is that's going to make you reevaluate your health, wealth, and your stability and how you define your foundations and your stability. But don't forget, this is being affected by the moon as well. And I think that that is the most appropriate thing we can take away from this message. Time to reflect. Remember how I mentioned you can see her face, the reflection of the moon's face in the water? This is all about reflection. Illusion speaks to reflection. What do we see when we look in the water? Do we see our shadow selves, right? So a lot of times this is about reflecting inward. Masculines, I think you need to stop with the outward energy. I think that's quite enough. And I think you need to stop and reflect. And I think you need to tap into this moon energy, okay? So for the next 30 days, that's the main piece of advice I'm going to give you right now. Stop and think. Okay? Know what you want and reevaluate. Feminines, let's go ahead and get you a message. Hopefully it will be as helpful as that one because I think that is really, really, really appropriate. Divine Feminines for Scorpio for the month of July. We're looking at nice clarifying message for these cards from our ladies. Here it is. Okay. Wow. Make the sacrifice. I don't know if we can see what's there. We didn't get the Hangman, Feminines, which would have been our tarot card for making a sacrifice. And we didn't get Death either, which would have been an internal transition. But this black dragon with the moon again in the background is holding a skull. It's very Hamlet, right? I don't know if you can see that, but he's holding a skull. There's a sacrifice here that needs to be made. And I'm not sure what it is, but whatever that means to you, okay? I think you've been going in. I think you're trying to figure out what you want, and you're trying to navigate your emotions. You don't know what you want. I think you need to figure it out. You need to make the sacrifice. And maybe this is a little bit about putting your own emotions on the shelf. Okay? And again, you know, masculine's being told to reflect because he's had all this outward energy. You've had all this internalization. You've been doing nothing but trying to figure out how to navigate these emotions. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. This can be really confusing stuff, right? But I think your card is more action-oriented. Make the sacrifice. What is it you need to do here? What is it that you need to change? I think a change needs to be made, okay? For whatever that is, but I think it's about how you feel about something. And maybe how you navigate your emotions. All right? So keep tapping into the intuition because I think that's going to help you here. But try not to overthink. All right, last card. So I'm going to go ahead and pull. This is the Vintage Wisdom Oracle. I love these cards. This is the first Oracle deck I ever got. And I think they're really beautiful. And they have a lot of really good, beautiful images and a lot of really beautiful messages. They're just pretty. There's nothing else I can really say about it. I like pretty stuff, guys. I'm into event planning. So what can I say? Okay, so the first card we get for Divine Masculines. Wow. Guardian Angel. You know, Divine Masculines, I'm wondering if there's some of you out there that lost a mother or lost a motherly figure, and that there's been family fighting about this. That's affecting you really hardcore right now because of this. I don't know. I'm just saying that's something that comes up for me when I see guardian angel. I see a lot of times loved ones that have passed on that are trying to guide us in this effort, or I just see this as like spirit guides in general. Right? There's an ancestors card in this deck as well. So it's important to differentiate between the two meanings. But guardian angel is a protective energy. And someone specific, someone in particular that's watching over you and that's close to you and that's guiding you through this. Okay? So when we have this time to reflect card as well, it might be a good idea to tap into that and what that means to you. Tap into your intuition. Reflect onto, I'll go a little bit deeper, right? Reflect onto what all of this fighting and all of this conflict and all of this stuff has meant to you. And focus more on the internal and knowing that no matter what conflict you're going through, you are really being watched over. That's a really beautiful message too. So this reflecting can only do you good, okay? I'm getting a little bit emotional. I really do feel like there's somebody that you've lost that that's with you. Okay, so Divine Feminines. I'm going to try not to get too caught up in that energy because it's really, it's making me kind of lose my breath a little bit. Okay, so Divine Feminines. Wow. All right. Wow, centering. You could not get a more appropriate card, Feminines. I don't mean to be picking on you. I love you. You guys are super, super fierce and amazing, but you do need some centering, okay? We're getting a little bit too caught up in that watery energy here, all right? With this moon and the 7 of Cups and this Page of Cups reverse, we need a little bit of grounding, okay, guys? And maybe you need to come back into focus with this a little bit more. Maybe you need to get a little bit of earth energy going there. Okay, you're doing great on your intuition, but maybe you need to, and you're trying to tap into these emotions. You just don't know what to do with them because you need a little bit of centering. And when we look at this, we look at make the sacrifice. What is it you can give up? What is it you can give up? What is it that needs to be shed right now in order for you to get to a more centered place? Because I think that there is definitely something that needs to be let go of. Okay? So whatever that means to you, I hope these readings have been helpful to you guys. I'm going to wrap it up because this has gone so long, but this was a really fantastic reading, and I really do hope it resonated with some of you. So until next time, peace, love, namaste.